Welcome back to Tam. Today, these guys, they're American style Rugelach. These are filled with chocolate and berries, and these are filled with Nutella and chocolate. It's basically a mix it match type recipe. The dough is the same and the filling you put in is all different. And the reason I'm making these is because I've set up a whole bunch of Zoom phone calls with friends over coffee. Really local friends that I can't see right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send them the Rugelach in anticipation of the coffee we're gonna have together. How awesome is that? Send treats, have coffee, do a Zoom call. Who knows? All right, so stick around. Let's make the dough. Let's do some alternatives on the filling. Rugelach to send to friends, coming right up. Let's get on with making our awesome Rugelach dough. So check it out. This is my old KitchenAid paddle beater, and it's chipped, and I'm guessing not quite as hygienic as it used to be. So I've graduated. Thank you, Amazon. This is a stainless steel one. It is quite heavy, but no enamel. So hopefully it won't chip. But granted, this guy is 20 years old, so we'll allow it. All right, so I've got my beater in, and into here goes 8 ounces, which is 225 grams of butter, which is softened, and the same amount of cream cheese. The cream cheese is gonna make it so tender. It's incredible. Into there goes 4 tablespoons of sugar, which is 45 grams. And we're gonna let this guy beat away and get really well combined. Here I have 2½ cups, which is 313 grams of plain flour. To that I'm adding ½ teaspoon of salt, and that is my mix. Flour, butter, and cream cheese. Once the butter and cream cheese come together and are well softened, we're gonna add the flour to it. We're gonna add a hit of vanilla and then bring our dough together. The dough comes together fairly fast. It's the rest of the process that's gonna take a little bit of time. My butter and cream cheese are well combined. I'm gonna add to that 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So straight in there, 1, 2. I think that was pretty much like 3 all in one go. All right, to this I'm gonna add my flour and salt combination, and I'm just gonna mix very slowly until I see that all the flour has been absorbed. I don't wanna mix this too much. This dough is meant to be super tender. The more we mix, the less tenderness there is, if that makes sense. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. So basically, all the flour will get absorbed into that butter, and stop. That's it. All right, I'm going to, even though it hasn't come together as a dough yet, you'll see it's very, very scraggly. I'm going to dump it out onto my surface, and I'm gonna knead it on my surface to bring it together. I really wanna mess with this dough as little as possible. So there is my scraggly dough, as you can see. So I'm just going to gently pull it all together. I'm gonna knead until I have one mass of dough. I have extra flour in case I need it to bring it together, but I'm using a baking mat, which is one of my favorite things in the world. So I'm a little less conscious of the mess, but you can see it's really, really sticky. So I'm gonna add a drop of flour and keep on kneading until it comes together. This shouldn't take very long. And then we're gonna parcel it out into 4 equal-ish portions and wrap them up and put them in the fridge. All right, there we go. Our dough has come together. It's nice and smooth. I've divided it into 4 portions. I'm gonna wrap these guys up and refrigerate them for 2 hours. If I tried to roll it out now, it'd be a huge mess. It really needs to settle in. It needs to bind with, the flour needs to bind with the fat, and that's gonna take a little bit of time in the fridge. So 2 hours, let this guy set up, and then we're gonna roll, we're gonna fill, we're gonna bake. It's all deliciousness coming right up. Our dough is out of the fridge. I've rolled out the first portion, and I've rolled it on a piece of baking paper. You could do it straight on a mat or a surface, but you will really want that baking paper because we're gonna fill it, we're gonna roll it, and then with the aid of the paper, we're gonna stick it back in the fridge for half an hour. So I've got my rolled out, I can't open it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I've got my rolled out dough. I've got here seedless raspberry jam, which is one of my favorites, but consider a rugelach like this, like a base for your creativity. Mix and match whatever you want. I give 2 suggestions. One, like a classic apricot-walnut filling. Another one, which is cherry and pecan. And this one, which I just came up with because this is what I had in the pantry, is going to be a berry and chocolate one. So no nuts in this one. So I'm using about a 1/4 cup of preserve or jam or jelly, whatever you call it, to spread all over. And because, as you'll recall, the dough itself doesn't actually have much sugar in it. We need a little bit more sugar because, you know, what would you do without a little more sugar? So there we go. That is our raspberry preserve. I've got here 5 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon to make my mix. Let's mix it together and then sprinkle the top of this with 1/5 about of our mixture. I'm not really precise, but it seems to work. So about 1/5. So imagine we've got 4 of these rolls. If we do 1/5 in each one, and then we're gonna top it with a little more cinnamon sugar. So that kind of makes up for the amount you're doing there. All right, and then my filling, what I have here is 1 cup of mini chocolate chips, and I have a cup of these guys, berries and cherries. This is what I found in the pantry this morning. Some of the cherries were a little big, so I cut them into little pieces. So I'm gonna sprinkle the top with about a 1/4 cup of the berries and cherries. Again, I have 1 cup, I've got 4, so 4 rolls, 1/4 cup of this, a 1/4 cup of my chocolate chips. We're going for that whole berries and chocolate combo. Oh, what could be better, berries and chocolate? Yes, all right. I'm really looking forward to my Zoom coffee with a friend, and of course, what's a Zoom coffee if you don't provide snacks? There we go, it's all there. I'm going to use the paper actually to help me roll this up. So you start from the long end. You can use your fingers, but you'll see it's a little trickier because this is a really, really rich dough. All that cream cheese makes it so. We're gonna roll up, and then we're gonna use the paper to help us, and into the fridge this goes for half an hour, and I'm gonna repeat with my remaining rugelach dough into the fridge, half an hour, heat up your oven, we're gonna slice, we're gonna bake, rugelach coming right up. So because this is one of those days where we're experimenting and having fun and make your own, so one of my rugelach rolls I've covered in Nutella. My kids are gonna love this. And I'm just doing chocolate chips and Nutella because why not, really? So that we have our berry chocolate combo and Nutella chocolate combo, because life is good. Life is great when you have Nutella and chocolate. So I'm gonna wrap these guys up, refrigerate them for half an hour, and then we're gonna coat in cinnamon sugar, we're gonna slice, we're gonna bake. Yeah, rugelach. It's been half an hour. I've taken one of my rugelach rolls out of the fridge. I'm gonna brush the top still whole before cutting with a drop of milk. Just enough so that the cinnamon and sugar I'm about to sprinkle on it will adhere. So I still have some cinnamon sugar left over from what I didn't sprinkle on the inside of the rolls. So cover it well, and we're gonna slice. And there we go. That is the beginning of our rugelach. They get a little more filled as you go into the center. Check it out. All right, so I'm gonna slice, we're gonna position them, and then we're gonna bake. All right, we are sliced and ready to go into the oven. I have my oven set at 160 degrees Celsius, 325 Fahrenheit. We're gonna let these cook for 30 to 35 minutes. The oven is quite low because, as you can see, these guys are pretty thick and we want it to cook all the way through to the center. So into the oven they go. Oh my goodness. Yes, Rugelach. Okay, into the oven. Our Rugelach are out of the oven. Here are the berry chocolate ones. How awesome do those look? And here are the Nutella ones that rather than coating them with cinnamon sugar, I coated them with chocolate sprinkles. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna package these up and deliver them to the friends I'm having Zoom coffee with this week. And I don't know, somehow it's slightly more special than just a coffee you made on your own at home, that we're having the same treats at the same time. Wishing you an incredible week ahead. I hope it's filled with awesome conversations, be them on the phone, on Zoom, with however meter distance you need to have. But at Pastry, it's gonna make it all better. See y'all soon.